to another edition of past year questions on Edubbey interactive content page. All right, so today we are going to look at another theory paper in October-November 2023. Previously, we've treated one, and so if you have not seen it, you can just search for it and subscribe to our page so that new videos can pop up on your system and you'll be able to view it first. You can also put your comments. If you have a particular year that you want explanation on, or you have a particular question you want to ask, you can put it down under the comment section and you'll be sure it will be attended to. All right, so this question, paper 1 theory, you are to answer all questions, and the total mark for this paper is 80. So let's get started. Question number 1 says, tick one external device. Tick one external device. So these are the questions: sound card, pen drive, motherboard, ROM. So the correct answer here is pen drive. That's why we tick it like this, pen drive. So question number 2, I want to remove it here, then apply. So question number 2 says, a computer system uses both analog and digital data. Explain what is meant by these types of data. So when we say analog data, what is analog data? Analog data means a continuous data. What do I call it? Continuous data. A continuous data. That's the meaning of analog data. All right? So we type it there. See, a continuous data or any value in a range. That's the meaning of what? Analog data. A continuous data or any value in a range. All right. So the second question says, or Roman numeral 2 says, what is digital data? Digital data is what we refer to as discrete data or binary data. What do I call them? Digital data or binary data. That is what we call discrete data, discrete data or binary. That's what is referred to as digital. You can call it digital, discrete, or binary data. Then, question 2b says, digital data is processed in a computer system. Sometimes, digital data needs to be converted to analog data. Okay? The question now says, explain why digital data may need to be converted to analog data. So why do we need to convert digital data to analog data? All right, the answer to that is we need to convert a digital data to analog data because, 1, you need to control an external device. To control an what? An external device. To control an external device. Those are one of the reasons why you convert digital data to analog data. All right, moving on. We are to use the most appropriate phrase from the list to complete the sentence. Your answer must be different in each case. So we have analog data, digital data, display a graph on a monitor, input the maximum safe water level for a river, measure acidity levels in a river, control humidity levels, open the windows in a greenhouse. Okay, so those are the phrases. Now we are to use them to complete each and every one of these questions. So question 1 says, a motor is used to dash. A motor is used to, what do we use a motor to? A motor is used to, correct, open the windows in a greenhouse. Open the windows in a greenhouse. So we type it there. Open the windows in a greenhouse. Open the windows in a greenhouse. So that's the correct answer. Question 2, Roman numeral 2 says a DAC output. What do we use a DAC output for? Yes, that's correct. Analog data. Okay? Analog data. That's what we use a DAC output for. Analog data. All right? The third one says what? The third one, a sensor is used to do what? A sensor is used to do what? Who can tell us out of these options that we have here? What do we use a sensor for? That's correct. To measure the acidity levels in a river. To measure the acidity levels in a river. So we just type it and put it there. To measure the acidity level in a river. All right? So let's move on to the next question. The next question says, identify 3 different network communication devices and describe what each does. All right, in our class yesterday, when we were answering the paper theory 1 that we did yesterday, we mentioned some, there was a question that asked us to compare and contrast 2 different device. All right, so out of those 2 different devices, one is coming out again, and that is router. Router is a device. So the question says we should identify 3 different network communication device and describe what each one does. So what does a router? What does it do? Okay, what does a router? What does it do? It what? It allows what? Allows a LAN. It allows a LAN to be what? To be connected. To be connected to a WAN, or say to an internet. That is the work of a what? The work of a router. So that answers the question of what? Describe what each does. So all we need to do is to bring it down to where we want it. All right? So we say it allows LAN to be connected to what? To WAN. To a WAN. Or set to an internet. All right? That's the answer to that. That is the function of a what? Of a router. So another device is what? Yes. Thank you. We have bridge. That was the same. You were asked to differentiate between a router and bridge yesterday, right? All right. So we have bridge. We have what? We have bridge. So what's the work of a bridge? Can someone tell me? If you have seen the video for yesterday, you should be able to tell me. There I explain the work of a bridge and a router and the differences between them. So what's the description of a bridge? Yes? Good. That's correct. Good. What does a bridge do? It connects 2 LANs of the same protocol together. It connects what? Connects 2 LANs. 2 LANs. So it connects 2 LANs It connects what? Two lands. It connects two lands of the same protocol together. Of the same protocol together. All right, so the third one, we have identified two, a router, a bridge. Then the third one is an hub. What do I call it? Hub. 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 So what's the work of an hub? Who can describe an hub for me? Oh, because we did not talk about this one yesterday. Make a try. Just try. What do you understand by hub? Yes. Anybody? Okay. Let me tell you the work of an hub, right? All right. So an hub connects computers or devices so that they can be broadcast to all devices. That is, it expands a LAN. It what? Expands a LAN. So we say connect what? Connect computers. Connect computers, devices, so that data can be broadcast to all devices. So when you use an hub, it helps you to broadcast, that is, transmit data to all devices. All right. So let's go to the next question. Question number 4 says, a teacher is creating a database for a class library. The teacher types the details of each book into the database. The teacher has entered a number of records. We have book number, name of book, publisher, date acquired, ISBN. Now, these are the book number. These are the name of the book. Identify and describe a validation check based on the data shown in the database table, which could be applied to the data as it is entered into each of the fields. Each validation check must be different. All right. So, book number. Which validation check should we have for book number? Yes, book number, validation check. We have length check. We have what? Length check. What do I call it? Length check. We have length check. All right. So what's the description for length check? Good. Length check does what? Each data item must be exactly 4 characters long. Each what? Each data item must be exactly 4 characters long. Each data item must be exactly 4 characters long. That is, each of the items that we are going to have here should have how many characters? Should have 4 characters. That is what it means. All right. So that is for length check under book number. Then we have date acquired. For date acquired, what's the validation check? Under this book number, you can still have character check, you can still have range check or presence check. It depends on what you want to have here. And they also have their description. For character check, each data item must be an integer. That is, if you choose to write character check as your answer instead of the length check that we have here, or if you choose range check, data must be in the range 1000 to 99,000 or 1999. That is if you choose range check. Then we also have presence check to check that the field has data that is not null. That is, it is not empty. Okay, so let's go to date acquired. For date acquired, you have validation check for it also. And the validation check here is what? Format check. What do I call it? Format check. Format check. Okay, so we have format check. What's the description for format check? First two numbers followed by a slash. What do I call it? First two numbers. First two numbers followed by a slash. Followed by a slash. Then the next two numbers. The next two numbers followed by what? Followed by a slash. Then the next four numbers followed by what? Then the first four numbers. The next four numbers. So you have example. What's the example I'm going to give you? You have DD, you have MM, you have YYY. Do you know where you used to see that? Yes, that's correct. When you are asked your date of birth, you see you have DD, or you are asked for when you started something. Maybe when you enter secondary school, or when you started primary school, or when you entered, when you are going to start tertiary institution. So the date will always be dates, followed by the month, then followed by the year. This can be a format what? A format check. We also have other checks there. Just like I told you earlier, we can have range check under this. Then the last but not the least is what? ISBN. So we all know the full meaning of ISBN, right? Good. So what is the validation check for ISBN? We can have check digits or character check. So let's go for character check. What do I call it? Character check. Character check. So this character check, how do we describe it? What's the description of a character check? Character check. In a character check, data must be an what? An integer. Data must be an what? Integer. That's the description. Data must be an integer. We all know an integer, right? Don't we? Good. So our data must be an integer. That's the description of a what? Of a character check under ISBN. You know ISBN is a number. All right. So let's proceed to question number 5. A group of pupils is planning to create a newsletter for a history project. The group can either use a smartphone or a tablet computer. You have phablet, but it should be tablet computer. Explain what is meant by tablet computer. Okay, so explain what is meant by a tablet computer. What do you call tablet computer? Yeah? Okay. Tablet computer. A tablet is a device that has a feature or properties of a smartphone. It has what? The features or properties of a smartphone. That's what we call a tablet. A tablet is a device that has what? That has the features of a smartphone. So that is what we mean by a tablet. It's a device that has the features of a what? Of a smartphone. And this device, its size is between a smartphone and a tablet. Okay? So it's between a smartphone and computer. So that's a tablet. Then you are to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of using tablet computer rather than a smartphone for this project. At this project they want to embark on, you are to tell us 2 advantages of using a tablet over a what? Over a smartphone. So what do you think are the advantages and disadvantages of using a tablet over a smartphone? One is that a tablet has a larger screen. You know, a tablet is usually bigger than a smartphone. Has a what? It has a larger screen size. It has a larger screen size. Okay? A tablet has a larger screen size. So when you use a tablet that has a larger screen size, it will be easier for you to read whatever text or navigation or click that you have on your screen instead of a smartphone. All right, so this is one of the advantages of using a smartphone, a tablet, over a what? Over a smartphone. Another advantage is that it is easier to control devices on a tablet. It is what? Easier to control devices. It's easier to control devices. So that means when you are using a tablet, it is easier for you to control whatever device you have attached to it. Unlike a smartphone, it is easier to control whatever devices you have attached to it. Let's have one more advantage. You have better control over the layout of the screen. What do I call it? Better control over the layout of the what? Of the screen. Better control over the layout of the screen. So those are three advantages of using a tablet over what? Over a smartphone. So let's now look at the disadvantages. Let's look at what? Disadvantages. So let's write it. Disadvantages. Disadvantages. Let's look at the disadvantages now. Because there is nothing that has an advantage and doesn't have a disadvantage. So the first disadvantage here is what? You can tell us. Yes. The first disadvantage here is that what? Less portable than a smartphone. You see, I told you earlier that a tablet is bigger than a smartphone, right? So it makes it what? Less portable. It makes it less portable than a smartphone. Makes it less portable than a smartphone. Yes, what other disadvantage do we have? Yes, what other disadvantage do you have? More difficult to record audio messages due to its size. More what? More difficult to record audio messages due to its size. More difficult to record audio messages due to its size. Okay, so it's more difficult to record audio messages due to its size. Then the third one, pupils are more likely to have smartphones with them. That is, since smartphones will be much more affordable, pupils are more likely to have it with them. Pupils, or say students, are more likely to have smartphones with them. All right. So those are the disadvantages of what? Of using a tablet over a what? Over a smartphone. Do we understand? All right. So that's 6 marks. You can list the three. Let's go to question number 6. Many teachers use multimedia projectors in their lessons. We all know projectors, right? All right. So many teachers use multimedia projectors in their lessons. A. State 2 health issues associated with the use of multimedia projectors. All right, so what are the health issues associated with using what? A multimedia projector for lesson? One is eye problem, because you continue to stare at it from morning to night. Eyes problem, eye problems. That's number one. Another health issue is what? Headaches. See, when you start staring at a screen for a long time, you start having headaches. Headaches. Another one is what? So you have to list two, but you can also have burns. burns, burns. So those are the health issues associated with what? Using a projector. All right, so you are now told to state two safety issues associated with the use of multimedia projectors. Two safety issues associated with the use of what? Multimedia projector. One is projector falling on the presenter. Projector falling on the presenter. You see, if you are standing under a projector and you are projecting, the projector can fall. Projector falling on the presenter. That's one of the what? Of the safety issues. Why using a what? A projector. All right. Another one is what? Yes, correct. Tripping over trailing cables. You know, we have cables all around that we use to connect this to that, connect this one to that one. So, some might accidentally trip on those cables. So we have tripping, over trailing cables. All right, over trailing cables. Tripping over trailing cables. Another one is that what? Electrical fire due to overheating of the projector. That's another one, but we are told to just list two here. So I'm going to give you these two and another two. So another two is electrical fire due to overheating of the projector. That can happen. Another one is electrocution caused by liquid spilling on the projector. So those are also safety issues that are associated with what? The use of multimedia projectors. Question number 7. A video of a race can be recorded using a camera either on an autonomous flying vehicle, which we know as drone, or in a helicopter. A person will be needed in the helicopter to operate the camera. Describe two advantages and two disadvantages of using an autonomous flying vehicle, which is known as the drone. You know, when you use drone, you don't need anybody to be there on top of it controlling it. You just be inside your house or seated somewhere and you are controlling the drone, right? All right, so you have to describe two advantages and two disadvantages of using an autonomous flying vehicle, which is known as drone. All right, so one of the advantages of using drone is that it is safer to use drones than risking the human filming in the helicopter. Now, as I told you, you can sit down at the comfort of your house or in the game center and just fly the drone around and get the pictures that you want to get. So it is what? It is safer. It is safer to use drone. Safer to use drone safer to use drone, safer to use drones than than what? Risking the the woman, the woman's filming in the helicopter. It is safer to use drones than risking what? Risking the woman's filming in the helicopter. So that's one advantage of using a what? Of using a drone. Another advantage is what? Another advantage of using a drone. Cheaper to use a drone than using a helicopter. See, using a drone is cheaper than using an helicopter. Cheaper to use a drone than using an helicopter. It's cheaper to use a drone than using an helicopter. So these are what? These are the two advantages that you have while you use a drone. Then what are the disadvantages? Because like I said, there is nothing that has an advantage without a disadvantage. So whatever that has a good side, we have some bad side also. One of the disadvantages is it is more difficult to fix cameras problems as no woman present. See, when the drone that you are flying has a problem, how will you know when there is nobody with the drone? So more difficult to fix camera problems as no woman's present. So unlike when an human being is recording or filming from an helicopter, the person will be there. But with a drone, there is nobody there. So it is working on its own. You will need to fly it back to you before you can fix it. So it is more difficult to fix. Another one is it can fly out of range and lose control signal. It can what? It can fly out of range and lose control signal. It can fly out of range and lose control signal. All right. So that's another disadvantage of what? Of using a drone over human recording. All right. So other disadvantages are the drone may become a distraction as it is closer to the race. Those racing, they might start looking at it and they will be distracted. Also, the range of the drone may be smaller. That's another disadvantage of it. So let's go to question number 8. Question number 8 says, state the most appropriate storage medium from its description. State what? The most appropriate storage medium from its description. A storage medium that stores data on the internet. We call that what? Yes, that's correct. It's called a cloud storage. We call it what? Cloud storage. That's the answer. Cloud storage. So when you store something on the internet, we call it storing on cloud. B. Internal storage, where the current instruction is stored. Internal storage, where the current instruction is stored, is known as what? Random access memory, or RAM. Random access memory. Random access memory, which is known as RAM. Okay, that's the answer to internal storage, where the current instruction is stored. So, C, a solid state storage that is used in digital camera. A solid state storage that is used in digital camera is known as what? It is known as flash memory. Flash memory. Or you can call it SD. You know SD? Yes, we call it SD card. Or you can call it flash memory. Whichever one you choose is the correct answer. So that is what you store a camera's, a digital camera storage, flash memory, or what? Or SD fast memory card. D, an optical storage medium that stores high definition HD movies. What do we call that? An optical storage medium that stores high definition HD movies. It is called a what? A Blu-ray disc. Blu-ray disc. Blu-ray disc. Alright? It is called a Blu-ray disc. Alright, so let's move on. We move now to question number 9. A hospital administrator enters data from medical forms into a database. Validation and verification are both used when entering data to minimize errors. Explain what is meant by validation and verification and why they are both needed in this scenario. That is, why do we need both verification and validation in this scenario? Validation is an automatic computer check. What do I call it? Validation is an automatic computer check. While verification checks that the data on the original source document is identical to the data that you have entered into the system. Okay, so let's explain a bit. Validation is an automatic computer check. Why verification? Why verification? Why verification checks that the data on the original source document is identical to the data entered. To the data entered into the system. So validation is an automatic computer check. That is, you don't have to do anything. The computer will check it on its own. Why validation? Why verification checks that the data on the original document is identical to the data you've entered on the system. So that is that on that. Another one is that validation ensures that the data entered is sensible and reasonable. Validation ensures what? Validation ensures that the data you input is sensible and reasonable. Why for verification? Verification ensures that the data is copied and entered correctly. Okay, so let's go. Validation now. Validation ensures the data entered is sensible and ensures that the data is reasonable and sensible. Why for verification? Why verification? Why verification ensures that why verification ensures that the data is copied correctly. It ensures that the data is copied correctly. All right. So we can have one last one, which is validation ensures that the data fits the set criteria. Validation ensures that what? Validation ensures that the data enters fits the set criteria. Okay. So because most of this data is personal data and data needs to be entered correctly, data should be error-free to ensure the patients are safe. If data is incorrect, it could lead to consequences. Okay? So, validation ensures ensures the data fits the set criteria because it is personal and the data needs to be correct. All right. So let's stop here and move to the next question, which is question number 10. Question number 10 says, the manager of the Tawara Hotel has decided to computerize the hotel's room booking system. The new booking system will allow customers to book rooms online using an app on their smartphones. The manager has employed a system analyst who will carry out research into the current system by examining existing documentation and completed questionnaires from staff. A. One item of information that the system analysts will need to identify is problems with the current system. The question now says, state three other items of information that the system analysts will need to state three other items of information that the system analysts need to identify. All right, so what are the three other items that the system analysts need to identify? One, the input processing output. The what? Input processing output of the current system. The input processing output of the what? Of the current system. That's number one. The input processing processing outputs of the current system. That's one of the first things the analyst we need to consider. All right. Another one is what? Hardware and software requirements. Hardware and software requirements. That's another one. The hardware and software need to be looked into. Requirements. All right. And the third one is what? Who can tell us the third one? We said number one is the inputs, processing, output of the current system, hardware and software requirements. Then number three is what? The user requirements for the new system. The what? The user requirements for the new system. That's the third one. The user requirements for the new system. User requirements for the what? For the new system. For the new system. So those are the three that the analysts need to consider why what needs to identify for his or a new task. All right, moving on. Moving on now. We have question 10B. 10B says, following the analysis, the system analyst will implement the new system using either parallel running or direct changeover. Evaluate these different methods of implementation. That is, we are to analyze both parallel and direct running. That's our task here. We are to what? Analyze and evaluate both parallel and running. So let's start with parallel. Let's start with what? Parallel. Parallel running. For parallel running, data will need to be entered twice. For parallel running, data will need to be what? Data will need to be entered twice. This could cause issues with double booking, because when you enter something 2 times, you might mistakenly enter the same thing again twice. So data will be what? Data would need to be entered twice. Entered entered twice. This could cause issues with double booking. This could cause issues with double booking. So this is one explanation or evaluation of what? Of parallel running. Let's list two before we move on to direct changeover. Two, in parallel running, a system is always in place. A system is what? Is always in place. A system is always in place. So that is another one for parallel running. We have others. I'll just read them out for you so that you understand it is not limited to these two. Another one is in parallel. That is parallel running. If the new system fails, the old system is still available. That is, since we are entering the data twice, if the new one fails, the old one is still what? Is still available. Staff can be gradually trained on the new system, which takes a longer time. Let's type one more. Since this is 6 marks, let's type 3. Okay? It says staff can be gradually trained. Staff can be gradually trained on the new system. Staff can be gradually trained on the new system, which takes a longer time. All right, so we are going to stop with these three. Like I told you, I'm going to read the rest for you. Another one is parallel running is more expensive. Is what? Is more expensive than direct changeover. Parallel running is what? Is more expensive to operate, as there are two sets of staff or two sets of operating system. That is why it is a bit expensive than direct changeover. So let's go to direct changeover now. Direct changeover. So the number one here is no system will be in place during the changeover. No system will be in place during the changeover. Unlike the parallel that has old and new, this one doesn't have old and new. So when you are changing over, there is no system in place. No system in place during the changeover. That's one. Two, data can be lost as the old system has been removed. Data can be lost as the old system has been removed. That's two. Data can be lost as the old system as the old system has been what? Has been removed. All right. So there can be a loss of data during the changeover because the old system has been what? Has been removed. So the third one for direct changeover, training takes place on non-live system, which may means problems can be missed. See, their own training, it takes place on a non-live system, and that means problem can be missed when you are not working with the live program. You are working with just a dummy. You are using something to test run. So when you complete it and you just want to start work on the new one, then there might be a problem somewhere, somehow. So we said training takes place on a non-live system, which may mean problems can be missed. Trainings takes place on non-live systems, which may mean problems can be missed. All right, so those are the explanation or the evaluation for what? For direct changeover. And you have your 6 marks. Others include system is thoroughly tested before use, therefore less chance of it being faulty. That's another evaluation of direct changeover. We also have faster method of full implementation as the hotel will not want the system to be out of use. Those are other ones for you to make use of. All right, so let's go to question 10C. You are told to describe the benefits and drawbacks of using an online booking system. Benefits. When you say benefit, those are the advantage. Drawbacks, disadvantage. So you have to describe the advantage and disadvantages of using an online booking system. The benefits now. Let's look at the benefits first. The benefits first. One of the benefits is that it is available 24/7. Therefore, help customers to book when they want. You see, when you book online, there is no error of, oh, the person in charge has gone out or is sleeping or not on duty. So the system is always available except if there is a crash in system or maintenance going on. It is always available what? 24/7. So that means you can book anytime you want. So that's number one. Available 24/7. Available 24/7. Therefore, it helps therefore helps customers to do what? To book when they want. To book when they want. That's one of the benefits of an online what? Online booking system. Another one is that what? Faster booking system as not waiting in queues. Faster booking system as not waiting in queues. When you are online, you want to book, you don't need to queue. So that's why it is said faster booking system as not waiting in queues. So when you are booking online, you don't need to join any queue or to wait for anybody and say, oh, am I after you or you are after me? No. You book whatever you want to book online and you get your results. The only thing that can put you in queue is your network, if your network is not good. Apart from that, you do whatever you want to do at your pace. The third one, easier to cancel or change booking. Easier to cancel or change booking. Easier to cancel or change bookings. All right. So when you are using an online, it is very easy for you to cancel or you change your booking. Very easy. Others are immediate confirmation of the booking. That's another advantage of an online what? Online booking system. Immediate confirmation of the booking. Either it is your email that you want to get notification, or when you press enter, you just realize you've booked whatever you want to book. Then let's quickly look at the drawbacks. I told you those are the what? The disadvantages. Those are what we refer to as what? The drawbacks. So number one is relies on telecommunication to make the booking. Just like I said earlier, the only thing that can give you headache is your what? Is your network. So you rely on what? Relies on what? On telecommunication. Relies on telecommunications to make the booking. You rely on telecommunication to what? To make the bookings. Two, need internet access and connection. Need what? Internet access or connection. If you don't have internet, you will not be able to make an online booking because it is required. So no internet connection, it means no booking. No internet connection, no booking. Needs internet needs internet connection or access. Need internet connection slash access. Without that, you will not be able to make any booking online. So the third drawback is security issues due to fraud and others seeing personal data. Security what? Issues due to fraud or others seeing your personal data. You need to enter your details. Maybe you want to book an hotel, or you want to book for lunch, or whatever you want to book online. So it will require you to ask for your name, your address, all this, your personal data can be used fraudulently online if it got to the wrong hand. So that's why we said security issues. Security issues due to what? Due to fraud or others seeing personal data. That's a drawback to using what? Online booking. Another one is, I'm not going to write this one again. These are the three I'm going to write for us. Another one is wrong information may be added accidentally, and this may be difficult to correct. You want to spell your name, which is Charles, and you put it without H. Then when you get to the hotel, you realize, oh, this is how my name is spelled. So you might be denied entry into such place. or maybe you book a flight ticket and your passport does not match the name on the ticket. So you see, there might be wrong information which may be accidentally added. So let's go to 10D. 10D says the hotel uses both a WAN and WLAN. Describe the differences between a WAN and WLAN. So when we say WAN, W-A-N, it stands for Wide Area Network. While a WLAN means Wireless Local Area Network. So now what is the differences between the two? For a WAN, it covers over a large geographical area. That's for WAN. WAN covers over a large geographical area. Or should we itemize it one after the other? Write WAN, WLAN, then we write under them what they do. Okay, you can also do it like that instead of the comparison I've been doing up. All right, let's try that. WAN. So what does WAN does? WAN covers a large covers a large covers a what? A large geographical area. Okay, it covers a large geographical area, and it also tends to use a satellite technology. Tends to use what? Tends to use a satellite technology. All right. Tends to use tends to use satellite technology. Tends to use what? Satellite technology. So for one, those are what it can do. Now let's look at LAN, WLAN, which is the wireless local area network. Which is the what? Wireless, said the WLAN, WLAN. And I said it means wireless local area network. So what does it do? One is that it covers the hotel site only. That is, it covers a particular area. That hotel site, it's what it can cover. Immediately you move out of the hotel, it can no longer cover the hotel. It won't be accessible to you anymore. Immediately you leave the hotel premises. That's why we say it covers the hotel site. Covers the what? covers the hotel site. And 2 is it uses wireless technology. It uses what? Wireless technology. It uses wireless technology. Covers the hotel site. And 2, I said it uses what? Wireless technology. That is, you don't need to start connecting wires before you are connected to the internet. Uses wireless technology. Uses wireless technology. All right. So let's move on. I have given you the 2 here so that you don't just put one. You put one during your exam, that is, describe the difference between one and Warland. We only discuss one and you did not discuss Warland, you are not going to get your full mark. So it's better you follow this guide and you state the difference between the 2. Okay? So question 11 says, a clothing retailer only sells its clothes on the internet. Discuss the benefits and drawbacks to the clothing retailer of using internet shopping. So we want to look at the benefits and drawbacks of a retailer selling over the internet. Okay? So one of the benefits is that it saves the cost of having a store. See, when you are selling on the internet, you don't need to have a store, right? Or a shop. So it saves you that cost. Saves you what? The costs of having a store. So 1, saves the cost of having a store. Having a store. 2, it saves the cost of rent. You don't need to rent anything. So it saves you the cost of what? The cost of rent. Saves you the cost of what? The cost of rent. Saves the costs of rent. And the third one is what? It saves costs as less staff required. Saves costs. Saves costs as less staff required. So we have other advantages, but I'm going to stop at these 3. Okay? I'm going to start with these three, then we look at the disadvantages or the drawbacks. We look at what are the drawback of this. The number one drawback is reliance on the technology. See, you are selling over the internet. So you will need to rely on the what? You need to rely on technology. That's what we mean by reliance on technology. Reliance on what? Reliance on technology. Since you have your store on the internet, so you did need to rely on the internet. So that's one of the what? One of the drawbacks. Another one is what? Relies on customers that only shop online. See, you only have customers who shop online. Reliance on technology. That's one. Reliance on technology. Relies on customers who what? That shops online. That means those that shops offline or physically will not have access to your what? To your clothes. Then the third one, increased cost more staff needed to operate or develop websites. More expenses to what? To operate and develop a website. So those are the drawbacks of what? Of a retailer selling online. Do we get it? All right. So you have your 6 marks, 3, 3. 11B. A customer is purchasing some new clothes from this retailer. That is, this retailer that is selling online. A customer wants to purchase from the person. You are now told to describe the steps the customers will take when purchasing the new clothes using internet shopping. So what are the steps the customers will take? The first step is to what? You load up the website, right? That website you want to trade on or you want to buy something on, you load it. That's the first step. Isn't that correct? All right. So after you load the site, what do you do? All right. So we are asked to describe the steps customer will take when purchasing the new clothes using internet shopping. So what are the steps the customer is going to take? One is what? Loads up the internet. You will have to load the internet where you need to buy something, right? So that's meaning of loads up the internet. Then what do you do next? After you load the internet or the website, what's the next thing to do? You set up an account. You do what? Set up an account. That means you create an account on that customer's website. Then after that, you log on to the website. After you log in, what do? You enter a password. Then you browse through the online catalog to check what you want to buy. Browse through the online catalog. Then what next? You click on the items required. If you have up to 5 here, it's enough. And how many have I given you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's add one more. Choose payment method. All right, so let's stop at this. You still have choose delivery method, add payment, delivery personal detail, check the details entered, log out of the system. But we are going to stop with these 8 rather, that I've given you. And ordinarily, you will require to write 5 to get full mark here. All right? Do we understand? All right, so let's continue. Let's go to the next question. All right? The manager of a sports club is designing an online form for members to enter their personal details. The form must be accessible to all members of the club. State 4 characteristics of a good form design. So, when you want to design a form, we are told to state 4 characteristics of a good what? Form design. 1, should be clear and feasible. What do I call it? Clear and feasible labels for each field. That's 1. Clear and feasible labels for each field. 2, easy data entry. Easy data entry. 3, good use of white spaces. Good use of what? White spaces. We are told to list 4, all right? And we have 3 already. Then the last one, use of sensible error messages. Use of what? Use of sensible error messages. Use of sensible error free messages. That is, your messages should be error free. There shouldn't be error in your what? In your message. So we still have other ones like appropriate size of data entry section. Appropriate what? Size of data entry section. Language use is simple to understand. Language used is what? Is simple to understand. Use of navigation buttons, drop down boxes or radio buttons. All these are also what? Are also important characteristics of a what? Of a good form design. Then let's look at 12B. You are told to state 2 characteristics of good form design that will help users with visual impairment to enter the data. That means those who cannot see, how will you help them so that they will be able to view or register on the what? On the site. All right, so what are the 2 characteristics that will give a visually impaired person opportunity to enter data? One is what? Buttons are large enough to see. So you need to make those buttons large enough to see. All right? That's one. Then 2, font size is large enough to read. Buttons are large enough to see, and font size is what? Is large enough to read. We have others, but since we are told to write 2, I write 2 for you and tell you the others. Font size is large enough to read. Font size is large enough to read. All right, so others are use of high contrast color. Use of what? High contrast color. Another one is use of voice entry. Use of text to speech. So this brings us to the conclusion of today's paper. I hope you've learned 1 or 2 things from what we've done. So if you need to go back, you can go back to the beginning and start all over and view all what we have done. If you were not paying attention earlier, since it's your video, you can watch it over and watch it again. You can also share to your friends, like and put your comments of what topic or subjects you would like us to discuss. You should also endeavor to subscribe to Edubbey Dynamic Solution page so that you get notification for videos as they come in.